Hi, Brian. How are you today?
I'm good, Rowena. How are you?
Not too bad. It's so nice to see your friendly face joining me today from Dublin here in Zaragoza. And Brian, I'm just going to do a little introduction to who you are and how we met. So, Brian Kelly is a facilitator with or trainer with Sea Change. And Sea Change run a program on mental health and training for managers, which I joined in on a few weeks ago. That's how I met Brian, how we met for the first time. And I contacted Brian the other day and I said, let's celebrate International Men's Day together by recording a little short piece. And Brian, how did you qualify for that?
Because I think it's because I'm a man. I'm not sure. I'm not sure it was because I do this work or anything else, but I think it's just because I'm a man. Am I the only man you knew that said yes?
That was it.
Uh,
We had a good laugh at how Brian qualified by his
yeah,
gender. But
yeah.
Brian, we were having a little chat over some messages, and I was reflecting on during the training, we were discussing how recently men seem to be being a little bit more honest in our situation that we're going through in terms of their mental well-being. Do you want to comment on that?
I think my experience has been that men struggle with their emotional and mental health just like everybody else in this world. We're not immune to it. We don't have to stiff up our lip, and we don't, but we do have this. I'm not sure if it's an ability. It is an ability. I'm not sure if it's a good ability for us or not, though, but we do have a great ability of putting on a mask and pretending there's nothing wrong. And I have done it myself and paid the price for doing it as well, particularly where work is concerned. Um, but I think something has happened over the last number of months with the lockdown, with the not being in an office situation, with working from home, with the madness of working from home. At this moment in time, Rowena, I'm in a back bedroom in my house. I have a lovely white screen, which is a big paper sheet. It's a photo booth thing, but behind that is a set of bunk beds for my grandchildren. And if I turn the camera around, you would see a mess on my desk. So, but it all looks lovely, and I hope I'm putting across some kind of an image that I actually know I have something put together here. But but in essence, I think this separation of me being in work and me being at home have melded much more, molded together. Sorry, not melded, molded together much more, and that has allowed many men, I think, to be much more human. And and when the kids scream or something, or when and it doesn't matter if the person is a CEO or he's an account manager or he's a support worker or whatever. Or I have been certainly on phone calls with some guys and companies, and they're like customer support and stuff like that, and the noise level behind them, it's not because they're in an office with 40 other people doing customer support. It's because somebody in the house is having a meltdown over something or other, and the dog is yapping, and it's just it's accepted. It's like, yeah, like this is life. It's messy, and life is messy. And we've been saying, I work with Sea Change, I also work with Suicide to Survive, I work for myself, we do a lot of different things. And over the years we've been saying over and over again, mental health is messy, life is messy. And when we can get past, sorry, I'm on a roll here, but when we
Go
get
for it.
past when we get past this idea of trying to just present an image and go, no, this is me. I am messy. I'm good in lots of ways and I'm messy in lots of ways. But just because I'm messy doesn't mean that I can't still be good. And just because some days my mental health is messy doesn't mean I can't perform, I can't function, I can't still be a whole human being. So sorry, that was a very long answer to a very
So,
short
but
question.
I loved it. The messy, take me messy and all. in,
Yeah. And what's wrong with that?
Nothing, because the thing is, you bring your whole self to work. It's the whole person.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
mask. I love the example of the mask, and I can relate to that because we would have had a mask for work,
Yeah.
professional life, a mask for home. I think there's,
Mhm.
there's there's a comparison there. But then when we had to work from home, and a lot of remote workers would know this,
Yes.
you would bring the mask down. The
Hmm.
mask changes. It's a more authentic you. It's a more real you. And
Yeah.
exactly, I think that people either have been enabled, maybe with a bit of forcing, Brian, to be more human.
Well, yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And we didn't, like, none of us walked into this voluntarily. I had an office at home, but all of my work was out with people. I done a lot of admin work or arranging and planning and researching and all that kind of stuff on my own. And I liked that bit of time on my own in an office with a computer. But I also liked the idea of connecting with people, and all my stuff was out with groups, out with individuals, whatever it was. And I was forced into learning how to do that online. And that created, I had to move from having this persona who was here doing me little bits and pieces on my own, just tiddling away, to being the person who was out there on show, for want of a better way of putting it. And when you're a trainer, when you're a facilitator, you are on show. It's like, it's not like you're going on stage and you're singing and dancing, but to some degree you are. So, and you bring that person with you. So how to that has been a journey for me, how to bring the two of them people together and go, I'm now sitting in the room where I usually had the time just for me, and I'm sharing it with the rest of the world.
Yeah, but
And how
you're
I manage that has been a
exactly.
journey. But and it
Mm.
has been a journey, but it's been a journey that has changed me and grown me and improved me, I think, over
Yeah,
time.
and thanks for sharing that so honestly, because it isn't easy. But I thought
Oh,
also how you showed led by best practice by sharing that behind the white sheet is the bunk beds, is the reality,
yeah.
that there could be noise. We've experienced it all with disruptions. So being more real about our situations leans into that honesty,
Yeah.
leans into that sharing. And that's what I've noticed as well from men and women over these recent months. But I think today, in honor of International Men's Day, it's really nice to call that out specifically and to celebrate, because we said we haven't been, there's a lot of talk, Brian, and you said it about what we're missing.
Yeah. 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 But we've gained.
But we've gained, and you've gained that learning of how to do what you do virtually
Yeah.
and sharing still and being honest.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I wonder if men listening in, if they haven't done so, could just stop for a minute and think what they've gained, of what they've gained,
Yeah.
what they've learned,
Yeah.
what they've become more comfortable sharing.
Yeah.
Because I don't think we've had a chance of doing that. And that's what I was hoping from our conversation. I think you've done a lovely job in relation to that, just to take that time to be honest, but also acknowledge that that we have come a long way in these few months.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for men, what being vulnerable online to some extent is easier than being vulnerable in a room with another person. Because I can always press a button and go, oh, the internet broke or whatever, And if it gets too uncomfortable, whereas if you're in a room with somebody, and just the way we're geared with the whole don't show weakness and all that kind of stuff, and that's just the way we communicate. That's the difference. That's a workshop on its own. But there is that whole stuff about, it is easier to be vulnerable here, much easier than it is if we're sitting in a room face to face. But the advantages of what we have gained through the online communities has been huge, absolutely huge. I'm speaking to you and you're in Spain. We probably would have never met if we weren't going online.
Exactly, and you shared so honestly, and we can find that common ground through what we've been through. And I mean, this, I know there's been a lot of saying too many Zoom meetings, all these different things, but I think there is in the right moments if we can share, if we can be honest and share our experiences, and that probably is the message. But I also wanted to just honor the men that I've come in contact with. I'll tag
Yeah,
some of them on this
yeah,
video, yourself included. Thank you for your work. Thank you for sharing so honestly. And let's just keep going the same way as we move forward through this pandemic.
yeah, yeah. Thank
Thank
you so much. Thanks for